This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1978-81 Game of the Week. Oh boy, we got a colossal matchup in the Midwest between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Kansas City Royals. Both teams colliding pretty much at the height of their powers, you could say. With each team has some promising superstars. You got Robin Yount and George Brett, who had that interesting mirror of each other throughout their careers, all this longevity and, you know, playing on one franchise their whole career. And yeah, so this is living up to everything you could imagine. But let's take a look at the standings before we start Game 1 tonight. In the American League, the Kansas City Royals, they are have an amazing year, and they're presently sitting at the top spot in the pecking order in the American League. But the Brewers have had somewhat disappointing of a year. I think in the first match with Kansas City, they didn't play very well, and that helps explain a gap of at least 4 games instead of maybe a game or one, but a game or two. But yeah, the Royals and the Brewers are clinging into a playoff spot. As far as the Orioles actually have improved their lot in life. They might be stealing Milwaukee's playoff spot. Out west, not so much. Still, we still have one more series, interdivisional series, besides this one, in the American League before we get to the playoff round. So a lot can happen. But it is a Game 1 of a best-of-5 series. Let me give you the rotations, too. Dennis Leonard pitched yesterday, so he's not available for the Royals in Game 1. So they're going to turn to Larry Gura against Mike Caldwell in Game 1. I'll give you those stats in a bit. In Game 2, it'll be Splittorff and Moose Haas. Then when we go to Milwaukee, it'll be Craig Chamberlain versus Pete Vukovich, and then Dennis Leonard versus Jim Slayton. And then back in Game 5, if necessary, it'll be Gura Caldwell. The lefties will battle again. Let me kind of go through the stats. Mike Caldwell, my goodness, 1978, 22-9 with a 2.37 ERA, and my goodness, folks, if Milwaukee got that for every year, they probably would have won a World Series in this era. But they didn't do enough in 78. Oddly enough, the hitting arrived in 79, and then, you know, Yount had a big year, and Ogilvy had a big year in 80, and eventually, by 1982, they did go to the World Series. Kansas City, Larry Gura, 16-4 with a 2.72 in 78. That did go to the playoffs in the American League West. Let's get started from Kansas City. Brewers at Royals, leading off from Milwaukee, the second baseman, Paul Mahler. He skies the center field. Cecil Cooper, 55, rolls to second. And Sixto Lezcano, 45, off the Gura card in the column is a double. And now the dangerous Gorman Thomas. 2-8, let's take a look at the Gorman Thomas card of 1979. 45 bombs in 660 plate appearances, 98 walks, 175 strikeouts, which is a lot, granted, for this time period. But what people forget is how amazing defensively he was. I think he won a Gold Glove. But anyway, he's a 1-2E4 in center. And with this particular template, who else has a homer chance on 2-8? Normally you just see them at 11 and 12, but they go all the way up to 2-8, which I rolled. It is on a 1 double, and it will be a double. But yeah, Gorman Thomas and the Brewers lead 1-0. Now Ben Ogilvy, 1-3, rolls the pitcher. Bottom of the first. It'll be John Wathan, 46, off of Caldwell. Both guys have 4 columns cards. Both starting pitchers very similar. Caldwell. This is going to be a base hit in the center field. Wathan is a beast stealer. Eventually, I think in 81, maybe 82, he's a double-A stealing catcher. But he's a beast stealer now, which means he's being held on. And batting second, it'd be Ron Pruitt. 410, pops to first. Now we have the dangerous George Brett. Also 410 on the left side is center X. And I just mentioned earlier the defense of Gorman Thomas, a 1-4 in center field, so you're not getting on base. So 2 outs, Amos Otis. 47 is a base hit to left field. Wathan will not make the out at third, so you have 2 on, 2 outs, and it's Al Cowens. 110 grounds to short. Top of 2. Robin Yount, 1-6, short. Charlie Moore, 34, third. And Salvando, 48, single 1 to 12, gets it. And the number 9 hitter and the DH, Taylor Duncan, 65, skies are right field. Bottom of the second inning. Claudell Washington played on a lot of teams in his career. Don't think he actually ever did play for Kansas City, but we traded him there. Seemed to be a nice compliment as they're right-handed hitting heavy outside of Brett. And so, yeah, Claudell, there's a spot in the outfield for him, and he took it. 55, rolls the second. Roger Freed, 3-6. Let's take a look at the Roger Freed card. So, yeah, the 77 card is no more. No more 398. He goes back to being a 239 hitter. He turns into a pumpkin, but the Royals decide to make some pumpkin pie out of it. Bring him in as a platoon first baseman, maybe a roll 3-6. He rolled 3-6. Homer, 1-14 double. It is gone. We got a tie game. Frank White, 1-7, single 1-4. He gets it on a 3. Being held on as a beast stealer, it's Mark Wagner, 64, bouncer to third X. This is Bando at third. Sal Bando, 2-18, still good the whole decade defensively, but that's going to be a single dot. With just 1 out and 2 guys on, we go back up top with John Wathan. 69, skies the center, and with 2 outs, it's Ron Pruitt, 64, bouncer to third X, and then this is Bando again. This time he makes the play. We are tied, going to the third inning. Paul Molitor, 67 is the liner to first. Cecil Cooper, 1-8 is a base hit to right field. Les Cano, 310 is a walk. 2 on for Gorman Thomas, who doubled earlier. 69 skies the center. And Ogilvy, 5-11 is a walk. So here we are with Robin Yount. Let's take a look now, with the bases loaded and 2 outs, at the Robin Yount card of 1980. And this is 637 plate appearances, a 293 average. But you add up the extra base hits. He's got 49 doubles, 10 triples, and 23 home runs. That is amazing. 82 extra base hits for a shortstop who is an AA on the top line there. Most of those extra base hits are against righties, however. We love the 2-8 automatic double and the 3-5 practically automatic triple. Against lefties, here's the pitch to Robin Yount. 1-5 is a strikeout. The down part of all that I mentioned, he only had 26 walks. He'll get plenty more in 1982 when he's your most valuable player. Bottom of the third. Well, we got to do equal star treatment, I guess. Your 1980 American League most valuable player and third baseman mentioned in the pregame, along with Mr. Yount. We have George Brett. Let's take a look at the Brett card. My goodness, it is the 390 card of 1980 in just over 500 at-bats, tinkering with 400. He's had 22 strikeouts, 24 homers. Amazing. The greatest destruction of right-handed pitchers in the era. Yeah, but has to face a lefty today, of course. And here we are, the pitch to George Brett. 2-8, grounds to third. Amos Otis, 55, second X. This is Molitor, 2E20 at second base, makes the play. And Al Cowens, 612, rolls to first. Top of the fourth. It'll be Charlie Moore, 612, right X. This is Cowens. He's still pretty good. He's a 2 in right field, makes the catch. Sal Bando, 1-6 is a walk. Taylor Duncan, 35 is a 6-4-3 double play. Bottom of the 4th. Claudell Washington, 2-12. Pitcher A+ injury. Claudell hurts himself. Oh boy. Need a new left fielder. And we got one. Pete Lecoq. Peter Marshall's kid. Nope. Can't play for. You can't play the outfield this year. I guess Ron Pruitt will play left field. He was de-aging. So, okay. Roger Freed, 58, flies left. Frank White, 6'11", pitcher X. Caldwell's an E0. Makes the play. Top of the 5th, 1-1 game. It is Paul Molitor, 47 base hit, a stealer, but Wathan's got a plus arm, so he will attempt to steal, and he's going to be out on a 19. Nice play, Wathan. Cecil Cooper, 2 7s a K, and with 2 outs. Les Cano, 311, flies to left field. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay. It'll be Mark Wagner leading off. 68, finds a short. John Wathan, 1-4, center. Ron Pruitt, 39 is a base hit, and with 2 outs, it's B. Mr. Brett. 56 is a sky to right field. 1-1 in the 6th, it's Gorman Thomas, 2-7, no home run. It's double 1-2, fly ball the rest, and that's the downfall. You'll get the extra base chances, but the batting average indicates it's going to be like double 1, double 2, maybe, yeah, so yeah. Not going to hit those most of the time. Ben Ogilvy, 1-7 is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Robin Yount. 3-6, single 1-6, he lines out on a 12. The pitchers are shining. Caldwell and Gura. Not bad at all. Bottom of the 6th. Amos Otis. 2-2, short. Al Cowens, 311, is a pop to second. And I guess Pete Lecoq could play first at this point. Yeah, for defense. Yeah, so Pete Lecoq will be the guy for the injured Claudell Washington. He'll just play first base. And Roger Freed is now your DH. Lecoq is better defense. So here's Pete Lecoq. 57 off Caldwell is a K. My goodness. We go to the 7th inning. Didn't see a pitcher still coming with these great offenses, but that's what we have. Charlie Moore. 4-6 off Gura. Double 1-14. Charlie Moore is a single. Now he is a B stealer. Both catchers are B stealers. Interesting. Being held. And it'll be Bando hitting away. 2-3. Short B. Now your place runners at first with a weaker one now. Taylor Duncan, 57, is a K, and with 2 outs. It's Molitor, 66. Skies to center field. Stretch time. Here in Kansas City, we're enjoying it's a 1978, hits of 78, because that's the first year of the timeline, just radio singles. It's like a random compilation of music in 1978 featuring Hot Chocolate, and Everyone's a Winner. Yeah, there you go. Give this a little spin here. Bottom of the 7th. It will be Roger Freed leading off the Kansas City offense to this point. 57's a K. Frank White, 1-5 is a base hit, a B stealer. Moore's got a 0 arm. He's going to stay there. Mark Wagner, 62, first C. We got a runner in scoring position, 2 outs for John Wathan. 67 is a pop to first. Caldwell Gura. Caldwell's a starter 9. Gura is a starter 8. Go to the 8th. Cecil Cooper, 112 rolls a second. Lescano, 110 is a K. And Thomas, 68, is a pop to second base. All right, bottom of the 8th inning of a 1-1 pitcher stool. Briskly played game. Ron Pruitt, 37, double 1-3, base hit for Ron. Turn this down just a little bit for you so I can hear better. so I can hear myself think better. All right. It'll be Brett with a runner at first. 47 off Caldwell is a K. My goodness. 0 for 4. Yeah, 0 for 3. Wow. Amos Otis, 58, flies to left and with 2 outs. It is Al Cowens, 411, left X. This is Ogilvy, a 3E10. A base hit, ... And now they have a chance with runners on the corners and 2 outs. It's Pete Lecoq. Can't hit lefties very well at all against the very talented left-hander Mike Caldwell. And here's the pitch. 210, skies the center field. Wow, Caldwell is a starter 9. He can pitch into the 10th if it goes that far. Gurra cannot. This will be Gurra in the 9th inning, his final inning. And he will face Ben Ogilvy. 5-11 walk. Robin Yount. 56 for Yount is short X. Here's a big play. This is Mark Wagner, the shortstop, a 3E18. He platoons with UL Washington. 3E18 shortstop to GBC. So Ogilvy is at second. He's a 14 runner. And it's Charlie Moore. 2-4, bounce to short. And with 2 outs, it's up to Sal Bando. 47 off of Gurra is a base hit into center field. Now Ogilvy. He's a 14, 15, 16. Now where is Amos Otis's arm at this age? He's still got a -4 arm in 78. So no, the brakes are put on at third base. And look at that third of the plate. My God, he would have been gunned down. So he stops, he puts the brakes on at third, does not try and score from second on the single because of Amos Otis. And the final batter for Gurra will be Taylor Duncan, a free agent acquisition utility player for the Brewers. The pitch to Taylor Duncan. 2-7, let's take a look at the Taylor Duncan card. He was an Oakland A in 78 and 330 at-bats at 257. But he just got the biggest hit in his Milwaukee career here. It is a clean single to right field. And that gives the Brewers a 2-1 lead. And that breaks Larry Gurra. Oh, what a shame for Larry Gurra. So he will exit after 8 2/3 as he has broken. Hit his point of weakness there, and we want a righty to face Molitor. And that righty out of the Kansas City bullpen, they're going to go right to Quisenberry. It's like a playoff game. Quisenberry just needs to get 1 out, so he'll come on in this inning, try and get it. Dan Quisenberry, the Royal closer, against Paul Molitor. 46 is a pop to first. So here we are, folks. Caldwell. Bullpen seems quiet. Milwaukee's bullpen is interesting. They have Tom Hume. They got out of the Reds. They got away from the Reds. They have Bob McClure. They have Tom Murphy and Bill Travers, who's better suited to be a starter. He's a reliever here. So those guys are okay. Kind of a bullpen by committee between McClure and Hume. And Caldwell's better than all of them. So he will continue into the 9th inning. It'll be Roger Freed, Frank White, Mark Wagner, the bottom of the Kansas City lineup. They actually are doing pretty well today. They got 4 hits and a home run and 8 at-bats. They need to keep it going here. Defensively, there's no improvement for the Brewers. They're going to run with this. Roger Freed in the 9th. Here's the pitch. 6-12 off Caldwell. Rolls is a roll to first. I'm not going to do the injury thing. He started the game at first base, then he moved to DH, so I'm not going to play that silly role at a critical juncture like this. It'll be Frank White. 58 for Frank White is a fly ball to left field. And with 2 outs, it's Mark Wagner. 35 for Wagner is a fly ball to left field. And that will do it, folks. My goodness, I had this in the wrong rows. Mr. Caldwell gets the CG. And the difference of the game, my goodness, was a single by Taylor Duncan in the 9th inning. And that's all it took for the Brewers to chip away at the Kansas City lead. Kansas City's still in great shape. Let's see. Quisenberry got his out. Tough loss for Larry Gurra. 8 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned. 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Gave up the runs in the first and last innings. But Caldwell was just a little bit better. 9-hitter. Solo home run. No walks, 3 strikeouts. Yes, he has a complete game. Having a nice year. 1009 0109 2819 4503. All right. Game 1 in the books. As we do, we will give you the results of the full series at the end of the video. We'll go right to the year-to-date boxes here. And, yeah. You kind of think these two teams should make the playoffs, regardless of who else is in the American League at the time. I know the Orioles and the Yankees are both good, but Milwaukee really deserves his due, I guess. So, Kansas City falls to 15-6, still in great shape, hitting .307 as a club. You can name Mr. Brett for helping out a big time there. They have a .332 ERA. By the way, Larry Gura, that was his first loss. He's 5-1. A sparkling ERA, 14 and 46 innings, 273. Doing a great job. Leonard's 5-2. Splittorf's 5-0. Actually, the losses, a couple of relievers, a couple losses there. And the hitting, my goodness, Mr. Brett is 40 for 91 after that game. Let's see. He's hitting .440. So that's kind of fun. I've used this Brett card, over the years. I mean, I've been playing Strat a very long time. And, I've really never had a .390 performance out of the Brett card. He hits like .357, maybe he'll hit .377, he'll hit .312. But he's now hitting .440 in this iteration. So maybe because of all you YouTube people, Brett's going to hit 400 on the year for us. He has 40 hits. The next guy after that is 29 hits for Amos Otis, who's having a nice year, 29 for 91. All right, your Milwaukee squad, very important victory there. Mike Caldwell improves to 4-1 on the year. Also pitching fantastic. He's got a .241 ERA with a 4-1 record and 5 big complete games. That's what's so important about these starter nines. You just leave them in there, and your bullpen gets that rest day. So important in this scheduling format that I play. For 12-9 on the year, homer-wise, it is Lezcano, who has 10 homer and 25 RBI in the 21 games, with 29 hits and 78 trips, to also lead the club in hitting. 372 for Lezcano. So, Milwaukee and Kansas City, with that victory, they'll be 3 back. There it is. They're now 3 out. We'll give you the results at the end of this video. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next time. Well, baseball fans, it got really interesting. This is the box score in Game 1 we just played. Brewers winning 2-1 behind Mike Caldwell. So what happens in Game 2 in Kansas City? Game number 2. It's going to be Moose Haas for the Brewers and another lefty, Paul Splittorf, for the Royals. And this time the offenses get rolling. Immediately, 3 singles and a homer in the first by Ogilvy. A homer by Gorman Thomas in the third. And another one by Lezcano in the fifth. They chase Splittorf in this game. But the Royals get a 2-run homer by Brett, a run in the sixth, and they rally in the 7th inning. They get a home run by Al Cowens. They get a homer by Brett. They have a 7-6 lead in the 9th, but uncharacteristically, Dan Quisenberry blows the save with a single walk and a couple more singles. And just like in the 9th inning of Game 1, when the Brewers stole that game, they do the same thing. Milwaukee Brewers, 8-7 winners, 1-1, 1-run wins in 2 straight in Kansas City. And they get up 2-0 on the road. All you got to do is go home to County Stadium in Milwaukee and win a baseball game. Memo, don't throw a left-handed pitcher against the Milwaukee Brewers. They destroy them. They finally did that in this one. Game 3 in Milwaukee. This time it's Craig Chamberlain for the visiting Royals, has to keep the series alive against Pete Vukovich. In this game, top of the third, couple guys on with 2 outs, Claudel Washington, 3-run homer. Brewers get 3 runs in the first with RBI doubles by Yount and a single by Ogilvy. An RBI single by Cowens, 4-3 Royals, and then back to Brewers, seesaw affair. 2-run homer by Yount, Then the Royals take the lead with a 2-run homer by Mark Wagner, who only had 1 homer in that year. Insurance run in the 7th. 7-5 game. This time Quisenberry does convert the save. So the Royals get the 3rd straight road win. I always say road wins are the evidence of good teams, which means we got 2 of them here, folks. We have 2 good teams, 3 straight road wins. And again, the righty Pete Vukovich got knocked around in 6 innings for 9 hits and 6 runs. So what happens in Game 4? Can the Brewers finally finish off these Royals? And the answer is no. A 7-6 win. What a thrilling, exciting series. Back and forth again. Claudel Washington, the leadoff homer, off of the starter Jim Slayton. Then Ben Oglivie, a homer in the 2nd inning, off starter Dennis Leonard. In the 3rd inning, you can't stop Brad. He'll get a 2-run homer and an RBI single after a triple, beating up Slayton. Another RBI double by Otis. Bottom of the 4th, that guy Oglivie again is all of Milwaukee's offense with a solo homer. Top of the 7th, an RBI triple by Al Cowens, and Slayton's gone. McClure's in the game. And Dennis Leonard has a 6-2 lead. But in the bottom of the 7th, he walks some batters, and they leave him in there too long, and he gives up an RBI 2-run double to Loscano and an RBI single. We get a tie game. They left him in there too long, and the Brewers tie things up. It stays that way into the 9th. Both closers are in by this time. Tom Hume gives up a couple doubles. It's a 7-6 game. And once again, Quisenberry converts a save. So, memo. Don't throw a righty against the Kansas City Royals. They crush righties. So after all that, road teams got the pitcher they wanted. And bad news for Milwaukee is that there's more right-handed pitchers in baseball than left-handed pitchers. So let's see what happens in Game 5. And it's going to be the same as Game 1. It's going to be Caldwell, Gura 2. Again, they pitch well. You get an RBI single by Charlie Moore and an RBI single by Al Cowens. This is a 1-1 game into the 7th. When Gura gets chased, bases loaded and 2 outs, and the dangerous Sixto Lezcano and Gorman Thomas up. They destroy lefties. So they bring in a righty, Renee Martin. Sixto Lezcano gets a bases loaded walk to make it 2-1. But then Gorman Thomas will roll 2-11. That's a homer off a lefty, a righty, a softball pitcher, a pickleball pitcher. It's gone. It's just out of the park. And Royals get a couple runs in the 8th inning. And just a strange series. Not really strange, just a Caldwell set up to win, Gura set up to fail, and that's what happened. And yeah, the road team got the pitcher they wanted in 5 straight games, and they did what they wanted with them. Brewers actually do win this series 3-2, but they could have had a lot more. They could have swept them or won 3-1. So by winning 3-2, when all is said and done, they only pick up a single game in the standings. And this is where the division looks going into the final week. The Royals have to put the champagne on ice. They can't quite clinch. They have a 3-game lead. With the most you can pick up is 3 games. So the Royals will have to be swept, and the Brewers will have to sweep their opponent. Twins and White Sox can't win the division. Looks like Cleveland won their division already. And the rest of the American League is still up for grabs. That's it. Congratulations, Milwaukee Brewers. What could have been a big comeback turns out to be a minor comeback. They win the series 3-2.